Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer. In this video I'd like to talk about a small camera versus a big camera in street photography. We often hear the claim that a small camera is better for street photography because it is more discreet. It does not cry for attention like a big camera. However, in this video I'd like to dispute that claim just a little bit because I think the size of your camera does not matter all that much in the end. And of course, after watching this video, please do leave your opinion on this in the comments down below. What I'm going to say is based on my own experience. I have taken street photos for decades and in many countries and in many different types of societies. So I think I have a pretty good understanding how it works, at least how it works for me. Small cameras have some distinct benefits compared to a big camera. And the most obvious is the size, of course. They are lightweight and super compact, fit in your pocket, and they are discreet, which can be very beneficial in certain situations, without any doubt. Small cameras also have some disadvantages compared to a big camera. Usually the ergonomics, and I think this is the most important downside, the ergonomics. Usually small cameras are quite poor to handle and hold. This is the GR3 Ricoh GR3X, and I think this is one of the exceptions. This is quite nice and the ergonomics are really good in this camera for such a tiny camera, but most small cameras don't handle that well compared to a big camera. There are usually no proper command dials for every exposure value, and sometimes the camera is so small it's not easy to hold it and you're accidentally pressing the wrong buttons and so on. And another downside, in my opinion, is that most small cameras tend to have also a small sensor, which means worse image quality compared to a big sensor, big camera. It's not like a deal breaker downside, a major downside, but in my opinion it is a downside anyway. This GR3X is an exception. It has a fairly big APS-C sized sensor in this really super tiny size, but most cameras of this size, they have a smaller, maybe 1-inch type sensor, or sometimes even smaller depending on the camera. At first you would think that a discreet, inconspicuous exterior or camera setup would automatically be beneficial for street photography. And one of the most common tips for a street photographer is to be invisible. But what does it exactly mean? To me, it means that I try to blend into the situation, wherever it is or where I'm at. And I try to act normally, because obviously I can't be literally invisible anywhere. But to me, being invisible, it does not mean that I somehow try to secretly take pictures of people near me. Or it does not mean that I'm stalking behind the corner with my camera and try to take pictures so that people can't see me taking their picture. That would be something not normal in any given situation, and that might even draw too much attention when people realize that there's a weirdo with a camera who's obviously trying to secretly take pictures of them. So I think being invisible means that you act normally in any given situation. And if you have a camera, you casually pull it out and start taking pictures. No drama. And cameras are nothing new. People see cameras all the time everywhere. Even relatively big cameras like this. But of course, if you have a really big camera, I mean, let's say you have this same Nikon camera with a huge 600mm telephoto lens, then people start staring at you. But if you have something like this in your hand or hanging around your neck, I don't think people are paying too much attention to you. This looks like any camera, like a normal camera. And if I'm taking a picture of a street scene, and there are people standing, let's say 5, 6, 7, 10 meters away from my camera, and they see me pull out my camera and start clicking away. It doesn't really matter what size my camera is, they can see it anyway. But they are far enough not to think I'm taking their picture. They think I'm taking just a general street scene. And if I'm really, really close to someone, let's say 2 meters or less, so really close, and I decide to take their picture, and I pull out my camera and start taking pictures. And if they see me taking their picture and they decide to get upset, they are the kind of person who likes to get upset when they see a camera or a person with a camera. Then also in that situation, it doesn't really matter what size my camera is, because I'm so close, they can see me taking the picture, whether I have the Ricoh in my hand or the Nikon with the 50mm lens. There's no doubt about that. And if they are the kind of person who gets upset by someone taking their picture, they are going to get upset regardless of the size of my camera. And if they can't see me, then the size of the camera doesn't matter either, because they can't see me, or if they decide to ignore me, then it doesn't matter, because they are not paying attention to me at all. The way you behave in the photo taking situation contributes a lot more to how the situation is going to develop than the size of your camera. If you can blend in, act naturally, and manage not to draw too much attention to yourself, you're gonna be just fine, and you're gonna capture some awesome shots, regardless of the size of your camera. Like I said, people are used to seeing cameras all over the place, so it's nothing unusual or nothing out of ordinary. A small, discreet looking camera, like for example this GR3, can be very beneficial in certain situations because it does not attract bad people's attention. I'm talking about pickpockets and thieves and people like that. But when it comes to street photography, I think you can have equal success with a small camera or a little bit bigger camera like this Nikon Z6 Mark III and the 50mm f1.8 lens. However, if a small camera like the GR3 for example is more confidence inspiring for you and for your street photography, by all means use a small camera. There is nothing wrong with that, and it's only good if it helps you getting better results or better pictures. But my experience does not support the theory or the claim that a small camera somehow is a must or a significant benefit for street photography. I've had equal success with both cameras, small and big. I hope this pondering gave you some food for thought. And if you'd like to support my ponderings, please do check out my e-zines link down below. Each zine is a curated collection of my pictures around a certain theme or a topic. And each picture is high resolution, so you can zoom in, zoom out, And who knows, maybe you can even get some inspiration from those e-zines. Link down below. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon in the next one.